Hey guys, in this set of tutorials I'm going to cover Require.js and the loading of the capability APIs. So Require.js is a prerequisite for loading the capability APIs, so it's very important that you understand this library and get to know it before you actually start building Qlik Sense Mashups. So the majority of this playlist is going to be giving you a good overview of what Require.js is and how we use it in our JavaScript applications. And then the very last tutorial of this playlist, we're actually going to be using Require.js to load the capability APIs. So I hope you enjoy, and remember to like and subscribe if you do like the content. In this section, we're going to be learning about Require.js. So Require.js is a file and module loader for JavaScript projects. So right now the projects that we've been working on have been quite simple in how they've been built. Maybe we've only had one, maybe two JavaScript files along with some CSS files that we're including in our web development projects. But as things get more complex and as you load more libraries and different JavaScript files have different dependencies on each other and different libraries, it does become very difficult to manage. And that's where Require.js comes in. So Require.js simplifies the management and loading of JavaScript files in your web dev projects. So as you can see, we could end up with this scenario if we have a very large project with loads of JavaScript libraries and files. So you're making multiple HTTP requests to load all the different files and libraries, which is going to slow down the performance of your application. In addition, you need to manually keep the order of these files in the correct order. Say if you have a JavaScript file which is dependent on jQuery, you're going to have to load jQuery before that JavaScript file. And as more libraries are added and more files are added, this can become very difficult to manage and also quite error prone. You could just have one dependency in the wrong place, which is going to cause your whole script to crash. So this is where Require.js comes in. So it enables you to manage code dependencies. And it also means you can build more modular projects. So you can separate modules of code, maybe running certain bits of functionality, and split these across files. So once your project is ready to be compiled, Require.js can compile them all together in the right order with the right dependencies. Now this library may seem a little bit complex at first when we take a look, but it really is very easy, and we'll break it down in this section. So our HTML files from now on are just going to contain one script tag, and this script tag is loading Require.js. You can see here we have Require.js in a folder called scripts. And we're loading one starting JavaScript file. So this is our main JavaScript file. In this example, it's called app.js, and it's also in the scripts folder. So what this is doing is loading our library, and then data main is saying, once that library is loaded, load the scripts/app.js file. So just to reiterate, script loader is called app, and Require.js checks this file to start the script loading. Also notice that all code is loaded to relative base URL, and we'll come on to that in future lessons when we start looking at the configuration for Require.js. And all remaining project dependencies are loaded in app.js within the require function. So this require keyword and also the define keyword we're going to come on to in future lessons. Okay, so here is an example of what would be happening in that app.js file. So we will use the require keyword to load the relevant dependencies that are needed for the project, and then we'll be executing our code within that function. So all this is doing is we're loading our Require.js library, we're then loading our app.js file in that main script tag, and then within app.js we use the require function to load our dependencies before we execute our code. So that is a very simple architecture to a Require.js project. So maybe don't worry so much about this syntax, as we're going to be going through plenty of examples in this section, but really it's important just to understand what Require.js is. So it's a file and module loader, and why we use it. So it's going to make our life a lot easier when managing larger web development projects. In the next lesson, we're going to actually get into the code and start writing a Require.js project.